Hello. How are you feeling? I see. Well, thank you for letting me know. By the way, I've got things to share with you. Do you want to learn more about them? Certainly. Right, so I've been doing some research and I thought that what I could do to help you relax and unwind is perhaps whisper some facts about dogs to you, because I heard that dogs are very popular pets indeed. Do you like dogs? Oh, really? Well, don't suppose you might have a dog as a pet, do you? Oh, I see. Well, I thought that this might be quite interesting for you to hear. So tell you what, why don't you get yourself all snuggly and comfy, and I'll whisper some facts to you. How does that sound? Okay then, make sure you're all warm and snuggly in bed. There we go, yes. Actually, would you like me to help tuck you in a bit? Certainly, I'd be more than happy to. Let me tuck you in a bit more. There we go. Nice and comfy. Plump those pillows. Alright then, here we are. Let's delve into these wonderful facts all about dogs, shall we? Did you know that dogs have about 1,700 taste buds? Compared to us humans, we have between 2,000 and 10,000 taste buds. Now isn't that fascinating? You'd probably think otherwise because dogs seem to be, well, food-eating machines at times. They seem to guzzle away at almost anything. Dog biscuits, cooked meals for humans, and some other sorts of messes that we shall not talk about explicitly. So, I suppose you could say that dogs don't really taste things nearly as well as we do, but that doesn't stop them from eating away. Yum yum yum, yummy, chomping away. I guess that's probably a good thing because, well, they're less picky that way when we're trying to buy them certain dog foods and the like. If they got a wind of how tasty human food is compared to their little doggy biscuits and tinned slop, then who knows, they might revolt and try and get our food more. Well, that's what they do anyway, but nevertheless, here's another fact for you. Dogs aren't colourblind. It's a bit of a weird fact, isn't it? We always thought that dogs can't see any colour, but that's actually not entirely true. Dogs can see colours like blue and yellow. Not much else though. So it's not all monochrome for poochies. But if you were to take them to, let's say, the ocean, chances are they could probably see all that vast blue around them. That's for sure. So like saying, that's a fact for you to impress your friends with. Here's another fact for you. Petting dogs is actually very good for you and the dog. You know that feeling you get when you feel all warm and fuzzy inside when you stroke a dog? Well, they kind of feel the same thing as well, because they get a bit of a serotonin boost as well. It actually helps lower their blood pressure, and it lowers yours too. So next time you're feeling stressed, which dogs can sense, by the way, they can sense a lot of things, be sure to give them a stroke. That'll make them feel better too. Here's another fact. Dog noses have about 300 million receptors. Now that is amazing compared to us. Humans have about 5 billion receptors in our noses. So we can smell pretty good. But compared to dogs though, it's no wonder that people like the police always like to get dogs on board to sniff around and try to solve crimes that way, but they're also good at sniffing out food, and also there's some other little things that they like to do. For example, did you know that dogs sniff other dogs' backsides to identify them via pheromones? Yeah, it's not very nice, that fact, but at least you know why dogs sniff each other's bottoms. It's a bit silly, I know, but it's actually their way to kind of understand what another dog's like, trying to find out their sex, diet, and health. So they give a bit of a sniff to their backsides. Dogs have very peculiar little squishy noses. It's always very important that their noses are nice and wet and moist. It helps them sniff a lot better. It also shows you if they're hydrated or not, so there's a bonus fact for you right there. Make sure they're getting lots and lots of water, especially if their nose is dry. But it is fun to kiss them, I'm sure. I bet you've probably kissed a dog on his nose. Surely once or twice before. Maybe more. Maybe more. But yeah, it's kind of like how we have fingerprints. Well, a dog's nose has a unique pattern of its own. So there's another bonus fact. But anyway. So, dogs kick backwards after going to the bathroom. Have you noticed that? Especially when dogs like to go in the grass and, well, do their business. But they like to kick backwards, flicking all the muck and dirt and grass and soil away. It makes a bit of a mess. It's quite amusing to watch, though. But they actually do that to mark their territory of their sweat glands in their feet. This is where the sweat glands are. They don't sweat out of their skin. It's all down in those little feet of theirs. That's how they sweat, you see. So especially if you've got a shaggy, hairy dog, you might want to take them to a dog groomer and get them all trimmed off. Get him or her all trimmed up, nice and short, so that way they can handle the heat. Only applicable on hot days, of course, and especially in hot cars, especially. But anyway, here's another fact for you. Dogs do not like being touched on the paws. In fact, they really don't like it when you touch their paws, so I know it's very tempting. Might want to try and tickle the little hairs on their paws as well. I've done that before as well. But the truth is, they don't like being touched there. In fact, most dogs don't like being hugged, or at least held, because it's quite restrictive for them, you see. It's like you're holding them down. But there are exceptions. Sometimes it takes a bit of time for dogs to understand what a hug is. For example, you might be laying down on a mattress or relaxing on a sofa, and a dog might just jump up and curl up with you. Being hugged that way, usually they have to be conditioned, but conditioned dogs usually know that a hug means that you want to protect them and show them that they are loved. And that's always wholesome, isn't it? Yeah, it's very wholesome indeed. So anyway, another fact. Let me think. Oh yes, did you know why dogs yawn? I bet you're thinking, oh, it's because they're just tired. Well, sort of, but dogs actually tend to yawn to calm themselves. It's quite relaxing for them to yawn and kind of just let it all out with a big squeaky sound. It's quite amusing when they make a big squeaky sound when they yawn. Have you heard a dog yawn before? Make like a kind of sound. It's almost like they're whistling for someone. It's very wholesome indeed. But anyway, there's another fact I want to tell you. That's the best way to meet a new dog. Actually, do you happen to know how? Well, I'll tell you anyway. The best way is not to just put your hands right in front of them to feel them or to, get all up close to them. The best way is to just slowly hold your hand out, very gradually. Let them get a good sniff of you, and then go to pet them and squish their face and all that good stuff. Of course, that's just if you met a new dog and they might be a bit unsure, but sometimes there are some dogs that just rush up to you and they're all happy to see you bouncing on their little legs and wanting to give you all the fuss and the kisses and licks and all sorts. Again, very wholesome. I prefer birds myself. I love birds, but dogs are still cute. Okay, now another fact. Now this is a very important one. I'll make this my final fact for you. Most fruit, chocolates, bacon, and salt, all these things are very bad for dogs. Things like chocolate can make their, make their tummies very upset. And grapes are very poisonous, very toxic, especially for their kidneys. So whatever you do, fruit, chocolate, bacon, salt, you don't want to be giving them illnesses or trying them out. After all, don't give these to dogs. Just stick with the usual little treats you might give them. Doggy biscuits and, I knew someone who used to give a dog carrots. Those are quite good for them, actually, because, of course, carrots are good for the eyes, but especially good to crunch on. Dogs love to have things to crunch on with those mighty canine teeth of theirs. So there you go, another fact right there. So, has this been interesting for you? Has it helped you unwind and perhaps appreciate dogs more? Please tell me, I would love to know. Honest thoughts. Really? Oh, I see. Well, thank you for letting me know. Thank you ever so much. Well, you do look ever so tired, so tell you what, I'll pop by again for another appointment. If you ever need anything, just think of your old pal, Dr. Cyneric, and I'll rush on by. Alright then, well, since you're nice and comfy in your bed, just let yourself close your eyes. Breathing gently, breathing in and out. Breathing in and breathing out. Slowly and gently to fall asleep, because all will be well. All shall be okay. Dr. Cyneric will be back. I'll certainly be back for you. Because you're my ever so favorite patient in the whole wide world. Yeah, absolutely. I'm certainly going to be bringing more animal facts for you if you like. Oh, thank you for letting me know. I'll definitely be keeping that in mind. Well, I hope you have a lovely rest and wonderful dreams. Sweetest of dreams to you. I'll see you again ever so soon. Ever so soon.